As 2024 was coming to a close, I told the Kripple crew to be on the lookout for this maker's mark because I knew our homeboy Johan Jordaan was going to have a massive 2025. And guess what? He has not disappointed. I'm stoked because today we have not one, but two badass budget bangers from our homie Johan Jordaan coming to us from Kubey, and I get to share them with you. Stick around. What it do, Kripple Crew? EDC with DBD, disabled but deadly, and I am well stoked today to bring you two Kubeys designed by our South African homeboy, Johan Jordaan. I told you you were going to see a lot of this maker's mark in 2025, and he has not disappointed. And he just told me 2026 is going to be even more baller. I can't wait for it. But I am stoked to take a look at these two Kubeys, and before we do that, stab that like button like you mean it. Make sure that you've /subscribe and also that you've bashed that bell for notifications so that you don't miss anything. We're going to kick it off with the Kubey Dheo. The Kubey Dheo, named for one of Johan's boys, comes in at 7.28 inches overall length with a 3.15, I don't know what you would call that inch, 3.15 inch modified cleaver blade with a flat grind and a blackwash finish. We have a closed length coming in at 4.13 inches. We have a nice handle thickness of just over half an inch, making it very comfortable in hand. And a chunky blade stock thickness of 140 thousandths. We have a total weight on this coming in at only 3.64 ounces. The Dheo is made to look awesome and to put in that work with that blade shape, for sure. Nice low tip on that blade makes it very easy to get it down to cut onto a flat surface. We've got a little bit of belly, just a very functional blade shape. This is locked up with the button lock plunge lock, and we do have rock solid lockup. I want to point out that with our plunge lock here, besides the lock itself, we have this stop pin that goes well under the tang of the blade. So when it locks up, that is well under the tang of the blade here. Plus we have the plunge coming out across the tang. And that is what is providing us with some really solid lockup. It is actuated with either the dual-sided thumb studs or that blade hole, which with the size and shape of that blade hole makes this a very easy 5-finger flick challenge. So absolutely fidgety as heck while still being nice and strong for use. This blade, you know Kubey, you know they do great edges on their blades. This 14C28 in coming in at 60 to 62 HRC, right where you'd want to see it. We're going to talk about the ergos on this. So, with my extra large glove size hands, behind the pivot, I can get a full 4-finger grip, and this thumb ramp here with jimping really locks me in back here. But if I want to choke up and get some control in a cut, you have this large finger choil that makes it very easy to get up in there and get some strength and control in a cut. Pinch grips are where this knife is really going to shine, though, using that tip, almost like an X-Acto knife. I really like that bulky tip. And yet we've carried some strength out here with this swedging. The action on this is fantastic, as you would expect from Kubey. We're going to do a quick hardware check. T8, 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 T6. So, everything except for the pocket clip screws on both sides are T6s, is T8. The pocket clip screws themselves are T6s. And as you can see, this is a deep carry, tip up as the gods intended, and reversible pocket clip. And he's included a filler tab so that we don't have, a big hole in our show side. And I also do appreciate that the pocket clip is inset with flat screws. So done very well. The way this flares out at the back end does make it more comfortable than it looks and really locks you in to holding this knife. The peel ply texture on the G10 also aids with texture and traction. This does come in 5 colorways, and you can get these for less than $60. And they come in at $54 after code DBD on the Kubey website. Oop, that was my fault getting in the way of that oversized thumb stud. Our sharpening choil, finger choil, is done very well on this. As you can see, our plunge grind starts right here. It ends right here. So all of this is sharpening life. And 14C28N is going to be a steel that's going to be very tough, especially with this blade stock thickness. But it's also going to take a wicked sharp edge and hold it for a decent amount of time. Plus, it'll strop back to life very well. I like the big K on the Kubey budget line. I like the way that they've done those pivots now. I think this is a very good looking knife. And yet, this isn't even my favorite of the two. Let's get you a couple quick size comparisons, then we'll pull out the other Kubey that we're looking at today. We'll bring that down a little bit. Let's do a Spyderco Para 3 and a Spyderco PM2. And as you can see, this is coming in almost the same length as the Spyderco Para 3. 2 more quick size comparisons. How about where did I set it? I just had it. The Kubey Hamster by Utilizator, which is going to come in a little bit longer than our Dheo. And we will compare it to the Kubey Gurkha, the next knife we're going to be taking a look at, which, as you can see, the Gurkha comes in definitely closer in length to the Kubey Hamster, a little bit longer overall than the Hamster. And while we've got it out, let's do those Spyderco size comparisons real quick. Let's just back it up. Back it up to the edge there. And here is the PM2 one more again. And as you can see, it is much closer in length to the PM2 than the Para 3. So the Kubey Gurkha, definitely going to be more of a full-size knife. And what you're looking at with the Gurkha is an overall length of 7.99 inches with a 3.5-inch folding kukri blade of 14C28N, once again at 60 to 62 HRC with a flat grind and a beautiful stonewash finish. We have a close length of 4.49 inches, a handle thickness of 55 hundredths. So this one definitely getting to be more girthy in your hand. A blade stock thickness of 160 thousandths. And a weight coming in at 5.22 ounces. The Kubey Gurkha is actuated with that dual-sided blade hole and cutout. And once again, because of the length of that cutout, this really is another fidgety knife hitting that 5-finger flick challenge with no worries. We have a very, very thick liner for our liner lock. And as you can see, we are locked up at about 35-40% on that chunky blade stock. This liner is as thick as some frames I've seen. We have bank vault lockup with, once again, a stop pin that goes well under the tang of our blade, providing exceptional side-to-side stability. And then we've got nice access to that jimped lock bar there, and just phenomenal action. We are perfectly centered. Oh man, that just thwacks out with authority. Ergos on this are even more comfortable than the Gurkha. I mean the Dheo. So behind that pivot with my extra large glove hands, I have plenty of room. And the way this really swells in the back definitely fills out your hand. I can choke up right on that pivot, and we've got all this jimping here for locking me in. Or I can use that finger choil and really get in on it and use this with a lot of control. Once again, we have a negative blade angle, allowing us to get that entire belly down onto a flat surface for push cuts or rocking cuts onto a flat surface. We've got an area here with a slight recurve that's going to help trap materials during slicing. Plus, plenty of belly to use for any bellied tasks. This would be a good, you could use this as a skinner. You could use this for just about any work style task. And that kukri shaped blade is going to deliver. That was the whole plan with the Gurkha, is he wanted to design a folding kukri pocket knife. And I think he has really nailed the style and made it look really good. We have 6 variations of this. 3 with the Stonewash and 3 with Blackwash. You can get an Ultem Gurkha. You know that's the one that I want to get my hands on. I really like the way that they have done this long row of jimping on the wide blade to lock you in. I think this swedge that they've got here up at the top looks phenomenal. I really like the design of the Gurkha. Throw this into a beef jerky Avenger grip, and I am so comfortably capped off. Flip it over into a beef jerky Defender grip. I'm still capped off, and now that pocket clip is locked into my hand. So I really feel like this is going nowhere. I think if obviously we always recommend using a fixed blade for beef jerky defense, but you use what's on you. And to me, this blade shape would work very good in a beef jerky Avenger grip. The action on the cage ceramic ball bearings is just phenomenal. And even though this one's coming in at a little over 5 ounces, it doesn't feel like it, and it balances right in that finger choil. Our liners are skeletonized to reduce weight, which is good, because as thick as these liners are, this thing would be crazy heavy if they weren't. And the peel ply texture on this G10, once again, like the Dheo, really does help to lock you in. Looks like we have the same hardware as the Dheo with T8 body and pivot screws, but T6 pocket clip screws. And once again, we have a deep carry, tip up as the gods intended, and reversible pocket clip that is inset with flat screws and has a filler tab. I like that they're covering this little extra detail even on budget knives. The Gurkha obviously has quite a bit more steel than the Dheo, so it does come in a little bit more. Instead of $56, you are looking at $64 after code DBD. But whichever way you decide to go, I think both the Dheo and the Gurkha are fantastic, solid options and really cool designs by our homeboy Johan Jordaan. Kubey and Kaiser have both done phenomenal jobs translating his designs this year, and I'm very excited to see what he brings us in 2026. But I want to know, which of these knives do you prefer, Kripple Krew? Do you like the big wicked folding kukri that is the Gurkha? Or do you prefer the more compact and wicked looking fidget beast that is the Dheo? Let me know down below. Drop a comment. Tell me which one of these is your favorite. Let me know if you have any Johan Jordaan designs. And until next time, folks, stay safe, stay frosty, but most importantly, Kripple Krew, stay deadly.